My hands won't stop shaking. Get yourself together, Eddie. Don't let them see your fear.
All right, untie him. He's not going anywhere. You sure, Jefe? El Serpiente said I said untie him and take the hood off his head. Want to see the fear in his eyes.
I'll tell you everything you want to know.
Yes, Edward Taylor. You will.
Where do I start?
At the beginning. We have time.
Alright, time to tell the truth about everything that happened. I hardly remember the man I was when this all started. If I genuinely spent time serving my community, I would have learned a bit more about social niceties. But my biggest priority was getting the strength to protect my family. Some people wanted to achieve great things, but me, I just wanted a family, to be the father I never had. That was before Kate and I got the news.
You a proud man? Pride is a dangerous thing. An ugly thing.
If I had nothing to be proud of, again, I would be a better people person, but I would say that I'm a leader. I didn't start the charity for pride. I started it because that's what I do. I lead. Not ashamed of that.
You seem a little touchy. Someone's got a temper.
Even though I said I'd lead, I'd be a better leader if I never lost my cool. My temper was valuable to people like the man here. He gave me an edge when dealing with others. Fierce look, an intimidating air. The reason I'm good at managing your money is because people know not to mess with me. My temper is my strength.
That is the viewpoint of the bourgeois. For us, strength is strength.
When it came to dealing with others, a scary person would be guarded by schemes and plots. Me, I'd always preferred the simpler path. I learned that the hard way. Things went from bad to worse. When they did, I had to rely on myself.
If only Stephen Harwood was so resourceful.
Stephen Harwood. Harwood was skimming. Not just a little bit here and there. He was skimming from every cartel operation in Goodland and burying it. But he broke rule number 1. Never let your guard down.
I'm aware that Stephen Harwood was burying our money in the forest. What never made sense to me was, what were you doing there?
Checking on a friend. Ralph had been getting high in the woods since we were kids. He was gone longer than normal. When I went to check on him, that's when I saw a light in the abandoned cabin. And Stephen Harwood burying something. It was money. I told Ralph what I saw, and I don't know what I was thinking. My charity was suffering. Ralph always needed cash.
So, you blame your friend for what happened next?
No. Taking the money was my stupid idea.
Step away from the money!
We were in the cabin, counting our money when... All right, easy.
You're not one of Marco's men?
I don't know who that is, but if you drop the gun...
Don't talk to me like I'm an idiot. Do I look like an idiot?
He did, but I wasn't going to tell him that. Marco had followed Harwood to the cabin. We suddenly found ourselves caught in the crossfire between the cartel's vengeance and Harwood's naivete. This is my fault, really. Everyone knows you can't trust accountants. We don't want the money. We didn't even know the guy. We just... Wrong place at the wrong time. The Ohado is cruel. Wait. You said that guy was your accountant. It's funny what comes out of your mouth when you're moments away from death.
So you bargained for your life?
I did. I would use my charity to funnel the cartel's money and figure out how to launder it. I didn't know it, but a deal with Marco Garcia is a deal with the devil.
It clearly took a psychological toll on you.
I started drinking. Scotch helped calm my nerves. But I couldn't let anyone see that. My life, Ralph's, my wife. One wrong move meant we're all going to die. So, this is where you work. I started this charity, Fresh Start. Helps injured people get a fresh start. Speaking of fresh starts, Take these. Marco dumped several stacks of cash onto my table. Some of the banknotes stained with blood. That is that accountant's money. I don't understand. Make it clean and fast. If you don't, I'll be upset. Comprende? Marco leaves. Before he crosses the doorway, he adds, You have 1 week. I tried calling Ralph, but he wasn't answering his phone. I can't get my wife, Kate, drawn into this. What do I do? Jerome called me this morning. Maybe I should pay him a visit. He might know what to do. My struggle to stay alive in the money laundering business had begun. I'd been friends with Jerome for years. We met through Fresh Start, my charity. He was a factory worker before his injury. With our help, he opened a laundromat. He's not as innocent as he seems, however. I bet he'd be able to help me with the cartel's money. Jerome's laundromat is out of the way, and I never see anyone in it. I've always wondered how he keeps the business afloat. Time to find out. Hey, Ed, you got some dirty pants you're looking to wash up. You could say that. Jerome showed me the books, how it all worked, how he cut corners to hide money from the IRS. You know, I'm glad you came. You usually don't return my phone calls. I'm in trouble. I have some money that I need to hide, and I didn't know where else to go. Well, I appreciate the trust, Ed, but please tell me you didn't start laundering money and immediately think laundromat. You're right. This was a mistake. Now calm down. I can help. We're all just dogs on someone else's chain after all, but what's Kate got to say about all this? Tell me you told Kate, Ed. I will, but for now I just need this to be between us, at least until I know it's safe. Alright, I'm with you. I'll show you everything I know and help out how I can. It ain't much, mind, but consider us business partners. Before you can start laundering money, you have to find a place to clean it. People in this town know you, Eddie. If you ask them nicely, maybe they'll agree to help. Let's try looking for someone who is open-minded enough. Scouting would be performed from our main office. In order to launder money, we needed to partner with businesses that would perform the laundering. To find such businesses, I needed to scout for anyone willing to lend us a hand. Only people who were good enough at negotiating could find out which businesses could manage our cash. Well, I found a business willing to deal. I'd say that's a good start. Next up, negotiate. That is what you do, don't you? If you want to keep up with your new employer's laundering demands, a couple of bucks here and there won't cut it. You need to build an operation. You can't do that without a bit of investing and convincing. And sometimes, you need to do it the hard way. I found a business. We needed to partner up with it. But first, we needed to negotiate with its owner about the terms of this partnership. In order for negotiations to go as smoothly as possible, I prepared a nice stack of cash to bribe the owner. The more I pay, the better my chances were to get a good deal. The outcome of our negotiations could be determined with something as whimsical as a dice throw. Of course, being better at threats or flattery was better than luck. Coercion was leaning heavily on an owner to force a good deal, the art of intimidation. Coercion was just a fancy word for threatening the owner into giving us a favorable partnership. It would affect the business's starting fear of us once we secured the deal. I knew a little bit about intimidation. With my life on the line here, it was them or me. If I was afraid of the cartel, I was going to have to make these businesses afraid of me. We were officially part of the underground. Everything we did was bound to push us, stress us. We were going to have to work fast enough to meet demands, but not so fast we would jump off a building. The main office would be a go-to spot for anyone who needed to recover between assignments. Sometimes, when there was nothing better to do, we would just relax and time pass us by. Good job, Eddie. You're a natural. That's not exactly flattering. Well, I'm not flattering you. It's a fact. How about you try to find one more business to partner up with? Go easy on the owner this time, though. We can also partner up with businesses through persuasion. First, we needed to scout for another business. We found one. Let's get a deal using persuasion. Persuasion helps us win a good deal by flattering and sweet-talking. It would have an effect on the business's loyalty once we secured the deal. Persuasion would be more successful the better I was at socializing. Negotiation isn't really one of my strong points, but I could work with people who are. Not all businesses that are open for laundering will be the right fit for us. Maybe we want several of the same type, or maybe diversify out. We could freely choose how to proceed with businesses we want to partner up, whether through coercion or persuasion. It was up to me. If we lost the negotiation, the business would be lost to us as well, and the bribe we paid would not be refunded. If we couldn't risk the failure, we could accept the business owner's proposed term by accepting the deal. However, we wouldn't get any bonuses, and the business would launder money less efficiently. All that was left for today was to collect the clean money. Money laundering takes time, so we have to wait for the business to finish at least one cycle of laundering before we could collect. If I were pressed, I could run a few more errands. It was only 9 in the morning, but I wanted to let Jerome get back to it. Clean money needs to be collected manually, but I don't have to do it for every business one by one. If we looked in the main office, we could order general orders to collect or deliver cash. Then we would choose somebody to head on out. We could only collect money from 5 businesses at a time. Any more might be dangerous. Without specific orders, anyone we sent will collect money from the businesses closest to the main office. Of course, we could also give them directions about specific businesses. For now, we'll just handle this quickly. So, how'd you do? This is a lot, but I think I'm getting the hang of it. Good. Tomorrow you're on your own, so if you ever want to talk, I'm always around. Thanks, Jerome. It's good to know I have someone I can trust. This was the end of the first day, and we were on schedule. The first day after we saw Harwood murdered was not easy.
You sure you're feeling yourself, Mr. Taylor?
Yeah.
Mr. Taylor?
Sorry, Mary. I'm just tired.
I'll go on ahead and lock it behind me. Don't work too late.
The money was all I could think about. I wanted it over with, but I also needed it done quietly. No links back to the charity, to Jerome, to my family. I was so focused I didn't even hear Ralph come in.
Jeez, Eddie, it's just me.
What are you doing sneaking around in here? Mary said she locked up. Came in as she was heading out. Is that the accountant's gun? When they knocked him over, I just grabbed it. Where have you been? I tried calling you all day. You can relax those killer instincts, Eddie. I needed a drink. It's like you do, too. I reached out to Jerome today. He's on board to help. The laundromat makes his profits in spare change, Eddie. We have to think bigger. I can't get the charity mixed up in this. Kate would see something's up. You haven't told your wife? Not until we have a plan. We got a gun, and we got money. Tell me you're joking. They killed that accountant. We're not the cartel. Not yet. But alright, what's your plan? We do what all desperate men do. Make allies. And if that didn't work, we'd buy them. Though I wasn't quite ready to admit that yet. Alright, let's find a way to get businesses on board. It went well enough with Jerome. This shouldn't be too hard. I'm with you till the end, partner. Let's get this started. Ralph joined our little operation. I should visit Jerome if I want to learn more about how money laundering works. One of the things that we would need to do would be to carefully prepare documents regarding how we would launder this money. Each company would require different finesse, but that was only something that we could learn by doing. Back again, huh? So you want more tips? It depends. What else is there? Laundering money is not easy, Ed. Otherwise everyone would do it. There's plenty to learn. So, do you want me to teach you or not? It's a one-time special offer. Sure. I could use some help. Alright, proceed with your day, Ed. I'll be there when you need me. Business's efficiency is dependent on how loyal and scared they are of you. Let's take a look at one of your partners. Loyalty affects the speed at which a business launders money. A business's loyalty deteriorates over time, but there are a number of ways to boost it. One of the options you have is to send a gift of money to the business owner. The boost you get from sending a gift is affected by how well you negotiate and the amount of money you choose to send. Fear affects the amount of money the business launders in one cycle. Unlike loyalty, fear doesn't degrade over time, but is affected negatively by loyalty increases. If you need to lower a business's fear of you, try raising their loyalty. One of the ways to boost fear is to send in someone to intimidate them. Obviously, the fear boost you get through intimidation will be affected by how scary your representative is, but be careful. The higher the business's fear, the faster their loyalty to you will go down. Keep in mind that if a company becomes completely disloyal, they will stop working with you. Likewise, if a company is scared to death of you, they will abandon you. Without a place to start, I just took a casual stab at the documents in Storm Spa. Hurricane was going to be out of our league, so I sent Ralph to pay them a visit and accept whatever reasonable offer they cook up. I could see that Ralph's work at Fit Nation was very close to the mark. A little bit of fine-tuning would be all we need. On the other side, my careless attitude didn't work out nearly as well, but this was a good start, and now I knew exactly what to fix. It'll be easy to figure out where we needed to go from there. I felt it was important to look for businesses only after being well rested. As we would proceed with the cartel's orders, we would become more proficient at some of the dirty tricks of the trade. It goes without saying, but the more we learned about any one thing, the more tricks we could learn about it. If we ever needed to know more about this, I'm sure we could always ask Jerome. If all things were equal, I'd pay them a visit so I could get paid more. With what I was up to, more money was better than more friends. Sometimes dice just don't land in your favor. The business manager called me out on it. Let's be real here. I know what you're trying to do. You want to launder money through my business. Sorry, folks, but I'm not going to risk it. I suppose I could overlook a couple of discrepancies of the documents, but you don't get greedy with me. Got it? Loyalty in one of our businesses had dropped very low. We didn't do anything about it. They would eventually stop working with us. As I just proved, I'm not the best at making friends. Ralph agreed to go chat while I prepared a few bills. This would be a tactic we'd use regularly. Even if I can't speak nicely, you know what they say. Money speaks louder than words. Ralph was on his way to pick up the money while I prepared for the next outing from the office. Ralph made it back with clean cash. We chatted a bit before I left with the bills we needed to be rid of. He'd go check out our new business, but one thing to be careful about was to hang out too often at places like bars and eateries. Ralph already had his addictions. He didn't need more. Every now and then, I'd personally pay a store a visit. Ralph was the good cop. Me? I ran a charity for injured workers. They wouldn't want to be in need of my help, would they? It was almost time to close things up. But if we sent out cars before closing time, we might get a little bit more done. Even with doubling our businesses overnight, fortunately we were still on schedule for paying off Marco. Ralph, tell me you're calling with good news. He wasn't. You're drinking an awful lot, bud. I wish they killed us back in that cabin. At least it'd be better than us scrambling around getting nowhere. Jerome says this could be doable. We just need momentum. We need a miracle. Calm down. Kind of thinking is probably what got Stephen Harwood killed. Stealing got Harwood killed. Fair enough. We could run. What about Kate? A charity? Your job? We could win the lottery. Actually, I was joking, bud. No, I know, but there's one way to turn this all around and quickly, maybe even come out on top. Ralph used to count cards. He quit years ago. Part of me regretted convincing him to stop. In his day, he was good. Really good. There's no guarantee you're going to win, Ralph. We both know that's not true. We could split up some of the cash. You keep doing your thing, I'll do my thing, and I'll have the money back before Marco knows what happened. You trust me, Eddie? Of course I trust you. Alright. We're as good as dead anyway. But just for the love of God, win. You can trust me, Eddie. Now, buy me another drink. Playing with the cartel's money is a deadly game. I could use our savings. Kate and I have been pretty responsible. We have enough. Maybe even enough to pay off the businesses that rejected me. I just have to make sure I get the money back into our account before Kate notices. If we found ourselves too short on money to run businesses, we could always ask the cartel for a loan. Like a banker, they'd smile as they handed you the cash, but this was a confident, predatory smile, more like a shark's. Unlike a bank, if we didn't pay them back, they weren't going to just stop at seizing your assets. They're going to seize your life. While we could borrow what we needed, we should be careful not to overshoot. Otherwise, the cartel would take it back from our cold dead hands. Part of me wanted to see if we could avoid dealing with it entirely. Besides, why pay interest? Keep in mind that there's also a 10% interest on every day we have a loan, so it's best to return the money as soon as possible. The only place I found in this area was another bar. I wanted to be careful about dealing with alcohol. We had enough problems without booze on top of it. Since I was already in this direction, I decided to drop by the bank. The bank clerk is looking at me strangely. Maybe there's a problem with my account. I'm sorry, sir, but there's insufficient funds for that size of withdrawal. This has to be some mistake. No mistake, your wife signed off several withdrawals. If you'd like, I could call her. No, that's quite alright. I'll talk to her personally. Why would Kate do this? I'll have to ask her about it tonight. Why would she do this behind my back? While we waited for the money to launder, Ralph and I would drop by the stores and make sure everything was moving smoothly. Even if the papers were perfect, dropping by was good for cycling the cash. I was feeling good about my decision to skip over the bar. We found a place called the Coffee Fee instead. I tried my usual swagger, but a place like this sees a lot of spoiled second-generation brats. When they threw tantrums, they threw scalding hot coffee with it. As loath as I am to part with the money I needed, running small jobs like a quick bribe was good practice for bigger trips out. We were bleeding money fast, but I had faith that we'd manage to pull through. I always do. caught my second wind as I pulled up to the cinema. Time to keep pushing. Now that I was feeling ready to go, it'd be time to make a round of collecting money. I'd put it off long enough. Our finances were hurting. Took a deep breath and steeled myself. I was going to have to be more serious about our pickups. For a moment, I was thinking Ralph should head out with the dirty cash, but I decided he really needed to keep us in the business's good graces. As usual, since it was the end of the night, we hit all the stores before closing. As the evening also drew to a close, it meant that I had to meet up with Kate soon. And I didn't want to do this, but I've already decided to ask her about the money she withdrew from her bank account. The question is, how do I do this? Technically, the money was Kate's, given to her by her father, but she was lying.
Where are you taking me?
You'll see. Maybe it was stress, maybe paranoia. But if the cartel was watching my every move, that means they were watching Kate. Or worse, they got to her.
Mr. Romance, you remembered our spot.
We haven't been here in years.
Years. Wow, years?
I know about the money.
Ed?
Just tell me where your dad's money is.
Forget it. That's my money. Is this why we're here? You want to confront me? I spent it. There, you happy?
You can't have secrets between us, Kate. Not now.
You want to talk to me about secrets, Ed? Alright then, let's talk. You go first.
I wanted to tell her, but in the moment I froze.
Go to hell, Ed.
Where are you going?
Home.
It's Miles, Kate. Come back, Kate. But she was gone. It wasn't until after that I heard the vibration. She'd left her phone.
Mr. Taylor?
Mary, I'm heading to Fresh Start now.
I'm already here, sir. You want this to wait?
No. What's up?
It's a pledge, sir. Came in last night.
We're a charity. Pledges are good.
It's anonymous. Something feels off about it.
I was taken aback. Sudden good news is rarely good news. Who knows about this?
No one but you and me.
I'll look into it. And Mary, maybe don't tell anyone about this, okay?
Of course, Mr. Taylor.
Until I figure out where the money's from, I mean. Mary had informed me the strange donation was pledged to Fresh Start. I should decide what to do with it. But she wasn't kidding. The donation smelled rotten. It was also exactly what I needed. If I took the money, I think the police would take notice. But if I refused the donation, I would never be able to get answers from Mary. Getting the documents on the first try was a 1 in 10 shot, but on the second try, jackpot every time. If I was the bluster, Ralph was the boaster. But how long could we keep this up with just the two of us? I found a convenience store called the Discount Store. The amount of cash I could run through it looked promising. There was a lot I wanted to do, but I needed to head back to the office to catch my breath first. We got word that something was going to happen to the discount store. It hadn't happened yet, so I did one last thing before heading over. One of our businesses was about to be attacked by a local gang. I chose to drive nearby and keep an eye on the situation. In order to protect the business, however, we'd actually have to be on site. With each business, we can only assign one of our representatives to stand guard for us. Any more than that would bring the law down on our heads. Of course, I'm not too shabby in a fight. Neither is Ralph, but I had a bad feeling about this one. There are two different kinds of gangs, one that does nothing more than deface the store, and another that tries to aim for the money. We need to make sure that we know which gang is which. As I said before, I had a bad feeling about this, but it was something I had to do.
You want the money you've been laundering here?
How did you know about...
The money or die?
Fine. Take it. Just like that, they were gone. What was that? I got a call from Ralph. Hey, Eddie, I have a little problem. What is it, Ralph? I just got mugged. What? Are you okay? I am, but the money they took, that was the cartel's money. Ah! Where are you now? Front of the police station. Are you out of your mind? What are you doing there? This cop happened to be nearby when I got mugged. They chased the guy, but anyway, he took me to the station to report the crime. Sorry, Eddie. There's nothing I could do. I don't even... Okay, stay where you are. I'll be there as soon as I can. First, somebody targets my business, and then Ralph gets mugged? Is this a coincidence? What the heck is happening here? Ralph is stuck at the police station after getting mugged. I better help him deal with this. I found Ralph sitting in the hallway, waiting for me. Apparently he told the police he was still in shock after getting mugged, and needed time to gather his thoughts. Thankfully, they believed him. What do we do, Eddie? Do you think people know what we're doing? We want the cops thinking we're victims. If we don't report this, it'll look bad. Thankfully, we had to deal with the sheriff's deputy, not the brightest bulb. You're saying you just happen to have a large sum of money and these people just happen to know about it and they stole it. That's what I'm saying. I tell you what, Goodland is simple, folk. If anyone starts flashing big bills around, people will talk and we'll get right to the bottom of this. That's it? Unless you want to tell me how to do my job. No, he doesn't. Come on, Ralph. We got back to my car. Someone was already waiting for us there.
Overheard you all are having some trouble tracking the funds.
Not at all. We trust the deputy.
The deputy is in the bald eagle's pocket.
I don't know anything about that. I'm sure this was all just a misunderstanding.
Well, I'd be inclined to help you prevent similar misunderstandings happening to your money in the future then, for a fee.
I'll think about it.
It sounds like you need people around you who you can trust, so yeah, think it over. You know where to find.
Some factions in Goodland could provide us with agents for hire to help managing our laundering empire. Hired agents are no different than regular agents, aside from taking a daily payment for their services. If we fired any hired agent, we could always hire them again if needed. This Travis guy already knew what was up, and we could obviously use the help. Being a cop, Travis had undergone close quarters training. Maybe he really was what we needed. Before we left the police station, I'd overheard some of the cops gossiping with each other about Travis's temper. This was something I'd have to pay attention to. While it was important to arrive before any violence happened, it was also a waste of time to sit around waiting for action. Travis called to let me know that he sent a thug packing. No arrest could be made, though. We didn't want the police looking too closely at our shops. You'd know it at just a glance, but Travis wasn't too good with the sweet talk. But then again, he had the muscle to back it up. Once we get word of a place being the sites of some morons, we double check to make sure we knew how long it'd take us to drive there. I didn't like it, but Ralph was going to have to be on his own for this one. We really had to avoid making these friendly debates into something bigger, where the gangs, police, and cartel all come looking. Now that the dust was settling, it was time to check out the discount store. Since they'd just gotten trashed, I'd help pay for the cleanup. I'd say I'm not running a charity, but, you know. With 6 businesses in our pocket, it was time to consider expanding our operation. Travis McCann was somewhat of an intimidating person. We'd have to be careful about where we sent him. One of the things he was known for was his temper. But with his help, for once, we were ahead of schedule. That day, I slept in late. Kate wasn't at home when I woke up. I called her on my way to the office.
Good morning, sleepyhead. I figured you deserved to sleep in, so I didn't wake you.
What are you up to? It's not like you to be out that early.
I had a meeting about the gala tonight. Tell me you didn't forget.
That's today? It completely slipped my mind.
It's fine. I have it covered.
You do? Well, as I climbed the stairs, we heard Mary scream. She covered her mouth in shock. At her feet, the severed head of a pig. It was gift wrapped and placed carefully in front of the charity's door. What the heck?
Ed?
Nothing. I just spilled hot coffee on me. Listen, I'll call you back later, okay?
Mr. Taylor, should I call the police?
No, I mean, no. Mary, I think you should take the day off. I'll find out who did this. First, Ralph gets jumped and now this? Coincidence? There was a gift card attached to the pig head, from Beth, written on it, and an address, together with the words, "Come alone," underlined 3 times. In some ways, I knew it'd be a trap. I wasn't going to be simple and rush out first thing. Let's wait and see first. Any business could be curated to raise its efficiency. We can raise fear and loyalty by doing so. If our intimidation skill is better than our ability to negotiate, we will increase fear. The opposite is also true. Higher social abilities will raise loyalty. Our experience and leadership also provides additional bonuses when curating. Additionally, this will allow us to choose different settings for how the business will operate. We have to manually find optimal settings for every aspect of business operation. And finally, when curating a business, each business provides different opportunities for our representatives. Upgrading businesses will increase the complexity of this operation. Nothing happened yet. Perhaps it was time to accept little Miss Piggy's hospitality. The address led me to an old trailer park. The second I stepped out of my car, I felt watched. It wasn't long until I learned I was right.
Well, look here, boys. It's the philanthropist himself.
The pig butcher, I assume?
I don't just decapitate pigs. I also decapitate punks like you if it comes to it.
I'm just trying to get by like you folks.
You're nothing like us folks.
We didn't get off on the right foot. I say we start fresh.
You're asking for an exchange. Fair enough. Money for protection.
Fine, but you need to work with me.
I didn't call you to my lands for you to talk about my needs.
The people I work for aren't as kind as I am. If what I do gets disrupted, they will be very angry.
That sounds like a you problem, Eddie. Pay us in full or accept the alternative.
Which is,
You know what you do to a stubborn pig, Eddie? You shoot it in the head.
Big Beth just introduced herself. She's a leader of a local gang called the Bald Eagles. I do well to keep her on my side, otherwise she could make our lives difficult by sending her goons to attack our businesses. Different decisions will affect our reputation with the gang, but we can always try to pay them off. I'll have to keep in mind that relationships with the gangs will deteriorate over time, so we can't get off the hook by only paying the gang once. For the time being, the Bald Eagles could go extinct for all I cared. 3 of us could take care of ourselves. I decided to make sure their closest neighbors knew who they better be more scared of. I might not have the cartel backing. The bar owner would still have to answer to them for any mistakes. Not only was our business large enough, but with the gang breathing down our backs, we needed to make shorter trips out so we could respond to any movements. The goons could attack at any time, so we needed to keep ourselves ready. Hey, Eddie, I have a favor to ask. What is it, Ralph? Can I have the rest of the day off? I have a thing going on. Sure. There's not much left to do anyway. Thanks, I appreciate it. It'll help both of us. You'll see soon enough. Since Travis already hit the stores on the east side, I'd take the other half. By managing collections in this way, we could respond to any threats of force with actual force. Word was that Muscle was heading to the storm spa was nasty. We'd better wait for Travis on this one. He wasn't going to have an easy time of it either, but we at least needed to try. Contrary to what you might think of me, I wasn't going to roll over without a fight. Once he had time to catch his breath, Travis went over to the storm spa to do some illegal hunting. I heard later that this was a pretty close one. Did our muscle need muscle? Ralph found himself caught in the Fit Nation's trouble as soon as he arrived. He'd have to wait until the goons got there. There's a problem at one of our places regarding shoplifting. These problems aren't usually resolved with actual violence, so a little intimidation can go a long way. The shop's staff caught a person trying to steal the merchandise. The person refuses to admit their guilt and is not intimidated by the police involvement. The staff, however, are. You can't really call the police on them, considering what happens in the shop behind the scenes. Unfortunately, he messed with the wrong guy. We threatened the thief with the police. We don't actually intend to bring the police on this, but the thief doesn't know that, so our threat has the intended effect. The thief apologizes, returns what they've stolen. Even though Travis was ready to go to the next assignment, I wanted him to take it easy for a bit longer. It wouldn't do us much good if he spent all his time and energy on small jobs. In this way, we try to keep a sort of rotation pattern. At least one person would be in shape and ready to go bird watching. I really wanted to expand our operation, but I just needed to prove myself a little more before people would work with me. Thankfully, we were still ahead of schedule. I tried not to wake Kate up as I was getting ready for the next day.
Where are you going? It's Saturday, you know?
I have a bunch of things to do. It's a busy week.
I guess the charity business is booming for you, Ed.
You could say that.
You sure you don't want to tell me anything?
I will, just not now.
Alright, you have a good day, Ed.
As primed as we were to get to work, I knew better than to send all hands out first thing in the morning. We weren't on good terms with all the Eagles, and one person needed to be available for that. Dropping off a little bit of money was a nice, quick task I could do. Once again, Ralph was caught up in some problems. These interruptions were going to have to be something we were ready for, or we'd have to start paying off the bald eagles. While at first glance it might be reasonable for Travis to bare his teeth at someone, his actual temper makes all that bluster meaningless one way or another. We hired him for the muscle anyway. I was still trying to expand our business, but it was hard to find another in the area willing to work with us. Maybe I should dissolve a couple of our existing partnerships. wonder if maybe these guys were just trying to enjoy the spa. Well, whatever. Not my problem if they're on Beth's side. With 2 attacks happening simultaneously, I needed to study our intelligence a little bit more thoroughly. The attack at the bar would be done by a weaker-looking thug, so Travis would go to Fit Nation instead. When dealing with issues like this, it's best to listen to the rats of the city. Giving the pig butcher a black eye was becoming the talk of Goodland. That was just what we needed to get a few more businesses working with us, finally able to expand our operations. Now we can upgrade our business to the next level. Once we've achieved maximum efficiency in a business, that business can be promoted. Creating a business will cost money, but they will launder more as well, giving us more settings to tweak during duration, to further increase its efficiency. Every level of upgrade will unlock one additional curation option, allowing us to tweak how business operates in detail. We can upgrade a business at any time we want, as long as the business's efficiency is near maximum level. It was our first business. We were able to invest in Fit Nation to make it a little more profitable. We still need to approach some new businesses soon, but it was a hectic day. Now that we've expanded our operations, we can temporarily also boost laundering efficiency in all of our partner businesses by doing a PR campaign. The cost will be determined by how many businesses we own. PR campaigns will also make us more influential in the city, but we can only do so once a day. There were 40 minutes till closing. Let's get collecting. That morning, Marco called.
The clock is ticking, Eddie Taylor. I'll be coming to collect tonight. You better have my money all accounted for. That's what you're good for, isn't it? Accounting?
Everything will be ready tonight.
Good. See you later, then.
We'd already gathered enough to meet Marco's minimum expectation. I could literally sleep in my office all day, and I deserved it. We got wind of another run at Fit Nation. They'd be there in 20. Travis could get there in 4. He could leave in 10 minutes. While we made the preparatory work to expand our operations, some of our other stores were hearing we'd be able and willing to find a way to boost their own businesses. What businessman could pass up that kind of opportunity? We lucked out on them, but we'd be willing to let them go if it didn't work out. Someone was supposedly hurt at Fit Nation. No need to trouble Ralph. I could take care of it my way. One of the customers was injured during his workout. He claims the faulty equipment is to blame for this and are threatening to sue the business. Who knows what will come to light in court if they go through it. Fine. You want to play it that way? We tell the customer that he won't stand a chance against us in court. We have much more resources to spare and a prolonged lawsuit and a reputation to keep. And we're going to fight, all right. He is convinced by our threat. Sounds like the bald eagle hadn't had enough. No wonder they're endangered. We carefully analyzed the situation, both in terms of strength and how long it would take us to get there. While it's not good to wait at the last second, there's no need to roll out the welcome mat for these thugs. We'll get there when we get there. Each time a business climbed up the corporate market, we were able to find new opportunities for hiding our dirty laundry. Immediately after the goons emerge is the best time to begin a prolonged operation. In this case, one of the businesses had just run out of money to launder, and I was already on the way to give them a new bag of dirty cash to deal with. We could tell that the one heading in for the coffee shop was the toughest goon they had. Travis would have to wait for that one, or we could end up losing some of our reputation. While the bald eagles were busy checking their feathers, Travis and I quickly moved money through the city. Our new electronics store had reports of a rogue employee. You should know the drill by now. In the meanwhile, Travis made short trips back and forth to be ready for any surprise attacks. While I drove out to our new business, we were made aware that one of the business's employees had been stealing a part of the business profits. It has been happening for some time already. They never take a lot. Not enough to create any problems for our operation, not enough to be noticed without close examination. But still, now that it has been noticed, and we know about it, something must be done. Steal from us, will you? Or the cartel's a bad influence on them. We threatened the employee with going to the police and it worked. Stolen money has been returned to us. Good thing the thief doesn't know that I have much more to hide than they do. The first week was coming to an end. Marco might not ever be happy with us, but at least we weren't going to be buried with hardwood. We met our goal. Question was, were we ready for another week of this?